This is West Wednesday, number 554. We are calling for justice for all victims of police violence. Mic check, mic check.
Mic check.
Mic check.
Mic check. Yeah, so just like my brother said, this is West Wednesday, 554. I'm so excited. That's why we're back online tonight, because I want to pump everything up, because we need you guys. Next week, we're going to be into our epic. When I say epic West Wednesday next week for our 555. Keep the movement alive. So stay tuned. We're going to play the video that we always play. So stay tuned and we'll be right back. Mic check.
Can't stop. Won't stop. Till killer cops or in cell blocks. Can't stop.
The following newly released video portrays an incident of assault and violence at the hands of police. Viewer discretion is advised.
I suggest you back the fuck up. No. Why you
This is Baltimore City Police Officer Jorge Bernardez Ruiz. In a newly released video shot in 2016, Ruiz is seen with his knee on the back of an unknown man with a gun pointed at the man's head. His message was a clear one: concerned onlookers, adhere to my dictates or else. Here, we can hear Ruiz saying to Baltimore residents,
I suggest you back the fuck up. No.
It is documented that Baltimore police officer Jorge Bernardez Ruiz is a repeat violent offender, even without access to all complaints against Ruiz, undisclosed by BPD Internal Affairs records. 6 cases involving Ruiz are known. This video will briefly highlight 6 total cases beginning in July of 2013. Case 1, Abdul Salam, July 1st, 2013. Here Salam is seen victoriously smiling in celebration after the jury found Ruiz and 2 other cops liable for brutality against him. However, because the trial was civil, not criminal, Ruiz was not fired and he did not go to jail.
Police profiled me. They followed me in the back of my house, harassing me. Police proceeded to violently and hostilely approach my van with me and my son in it. As I announced, this was my home, guns drawn. Once they reached my vehicle, they violently pulled me out, ramshacked my vehicle with my 3-year-old son strapped in his car seat, threw me against the gate, slammed me repeatedly. Picked me up by my feet, and while I'm upside down, they proceeded to drop me on my head, hog tie me, and immediately when I fell on my head, Ruiz, in a wrestling type of action, and kind of hit his knee against my neck. I was arrested. I had no idea what I was being arrested for. My son is scarred to this day. He remembers the incident as it happened yesterday. When he talks about it, he always refers to Daddy being on the floor with police yesterday.
Case 2, Darrell Harris, profiled, as seen in this video, July 17th, 2013.
Yeah, Sid, what's wrong with it? Improper way with it. There's no such thing as an improper way.
You gonna tell me my job, bro?
I know the law.
Are you gonna tell me the law?
I know the law.
You gonna tell me the law?
I know the law. What's the problem? You giving me a ticket? You need my license registration?
Yeah, let me get that.
Profile, y'all use the seatbelt as a reason. Profile.
Hold on, sir. Do me a favor, take out your keys.
Yeah, you can record. For what? Nah. I don't feel safe right now. Do you want me to step out the car? Do you want me to step out the car? I'll step out the car. Call the police, man. What do you call a supervisor? Don't about to do shit. This is getting uploaded to the internet right now. Yeah?
And we are 2 law-abiding citizens that we are getting targeted, and I don't know why.
Just 24 hours later, Bernardez Ruiz played a leading role in the police killing of unarmed Tyrone West. Case number 3, the murder of Tyrone West, July 18th, 2013.
My brother Tyrone West was brutally murdered on July the 18th, 2013.
In both of these cases, when you look at the pleadings and the harsh language of these officers that have been quoted to me by reliable witnesses, the N-word.
And Killer Ruiz and Killer Chapman and the rest of those 11 or 15 killers, including David Lewis, took something from my family that they could never give us again. And that was my brother Tyrone West, one unarmed man who was brutally murdered, beat to death in broad daylight.
Mic check, mic check.
Mic check.
Mic check.
I'm here, our brother Ben, so if we could have Uncle Bill move the device a little closer. Guys, I'm sorry we're having technical issues, and it's just really weird. Like, I wasn't able to get on, on my own, and I was already set up to see you guys live, so I apologize that you have to see a picture up of me. But anyway, I'm so excited about next West Wednesday. And last week we were out in the streets. Yeah, I definitely enjoyed us being out in the streets. We were out there in the rain, but we will definitely be out to see everybody. Like, it is so important that everybody take a little bit of time, adjust your schedule, do what you got to do, but we need to see you. We have to keep these moments alive. It's just crazy. Like, I literally just experienced a trip of what I could say a lifetime, something that I never thought, things that I saw, I actually never thought that I would we talk about it, we know racism is real, we know all of that, but to actually be caught in all of that foolishness, I felt like I took a trip back in time. And I'm like, okay, this is 2024, but why do it feel like I'm back in the 1950s? It was like crazy, the things I saw. Like, literally from us just traveling on the highway, and I never in my life, and that's something that can go on my bucket list, but I never in my life traveled that far ever. And in case you guys don't know what I'm talking about, in case it's the first time hearing it, but it was my youngest daughter's cheer competition, and that's why we were in Dallas, Texas, literally, for the whole weekend type of thing. But because like the flights were all like booked up, backed up type of thing, I waited till the last minute. And of course, flights are sky high. And finally, when I found a flight that was reasonable within my means, they wanted to have us be at the airport all day long. But if I would have known what I found out, I would have spent the night at the airport, wouldn't have cared less, because the stuff I saw. But I really think that everything happens for a reason, and as we go and endure this thing that we call life, things unfortunately happen for a reason. The good, the bad, the ugly, the sad. Everything literally happens for a reason. And as we started off playing the video, that always breaks my heart week after week, and we still don't have accountability. But it's just really sad that had to even occur. Like, why did my brother had to be murdered? Why did it have to be other victims? Before my brother, after my brother, and there's probably some more that Ruiz, the first one that pulled my brother over, that we're pretty much highlighting. But there were 17 killer cops of all races. So at the end of the day, sometimes it doesn't matter your skin complexion. It can matter to your connection. And when I say connection, it wasn't even about black or white. It was about being in that cold blue, being above the law with that badge. So, they acted like as if they were a gang. They went from wearing white suits to, I call them the Blue Klux Klan. But it's sad. But just thinking about my road trip, and I felt like I was traveling backwards instead of forward. And literally, immediately, when me and my daughters, and mind you, it was just me and my girls, That's it, you know. So we're driving. I'm not in my regular vehicle. I don't have tinted windows or anything, so you can see through my car crystal clear. And we started off really well because I'm like, I'm with my baby girls. This girl time. We're going to go to this big national tournament for cheer for my baby, something worldwide. We had all the cheerleaders worldwide come to this big championship, you know, to win and see what position they came in on the national worldwide tip. And so to make a long story short, when we first got on the highway, started seeing racism, like police signs, all type of things, and they're like, what in the world was that? And they're talking about it. So long story short, then I start hearing my daughter saying, oh, well, we need to find out what are the sundown towns like, or we need. And then when I say that thing was pinging off, and I'm like, you gotta be kidding. And before, after we, you know, like once we start getting like to the southern states, that's when we immediately would get pulled over by state troop. We got pulled over entering, and we got pulled over accident, and for the reasons that they stated didn't even make sense. Like the first time, we got pulled over immediately at the line out, and I learned a lot about highways this weekend, even though I'm freaking scared of them. But on different highways that connect, the speed limit goes up and down, and literally, like we were on one that was like 75. You know, nonstop. So we just driving. We thinking it's still 75, and we're doing like 72. So we get pulled over. They're like, "Oh no, it done changed down to like 65." I'm like, "Oh, sorry. I'm sorry. I didn't know." I'm explaining I didn't know. You know, he's like, "Whatever." But anyway, that was that. I'm like, "Okay, then that's understandable. You want to pull it like, but you put us on right at the line there." And I'm looking at like on the GPS in the rental car, and it just stated because it shows you like literally the speed of the highway, you know, speed limits. And I look and I'm like, oh, it just literally turned from 75 to 65. And I'm like, wow, you're going to be waiting right there just to, you know, just because of the type of highway and to pull us over. So long story short, that was that. But I didn't really feel no type of way. I'm just like, whatever. And when we were coming back, and I'm like, we're not doing anything wrong. This one trooper followed. I mean, he stalked us for miles. It had to be at least 5 to 6 miles. And every time we get over, because like there might be a big truck that's like had to stop or threw on their flashes or things of that nature, he'll get over with us. And then even when he just kept on stalking us, and then he finally pulled us on. I'm like, oh my God, please. So my heart is dropping because mind you, at the end of the day, my brother got murdered. And that doesn't mean every time like I get pulled over, I'm freaking out, but it is real. You know, my brother wasn't doing nothing wrong but being black while living in America, you know. So to make a long story short, he goes and say, oh, you're in the left lane, but you driving a little bit too close to the yellow line that's in the left lane. I'm like, what? Like, you literally saw. I was like, I'm going to give you a warning, but never gave us a paper, never gave us. I'm like, okay, just thank God you ain't give us no ticket, whatever. We can ride away, whatever. But for me to learn, and I felt like a fool because when I posted it, I didn't, even though I know racism exists, but I never really paid attention to they talked about the sundown towns. I never really, because if it don't affect you, you don't know about it. You're not really knowledgeable about it. But I guess ignorance of the law is no excuse. But I really did not know that this stuff is still happening in 2024, that after a certain time, if the sun is down, that you're driving and you're traveling, you go through a racist state, you and your family could be killed and nothing, and they get away with it. I'm like, you gotta be kidding me. So this is the reason why I say everybody needs to be at 555 keeping the movement alive. Because honestly, I was thinking like when all this stuff was happening, when all this racism stuff, as I was riding and all this like foolishness, I was thinking like, why haven't we as human beings go to them states where people, like innocent people, are murdered just because of their race, beat, slaughtered, like tortured, just all type of crazy stuff that you hear and you read about? Why couldn't we band together and just be like, okay, the sun down, we all holding hands, standing here and shutting it down? Like, I'm like, come on now, like this is allowed? This is horrible because you know why? It does not affect white America. And I'm just saying, and it's not the West Coalition. This is Tawanda Jones speaking from my heart. And it seems like when anything is affected by like Caucasians being hurt or feelings getting hurt, they do something. They make sure that white people are comfortable. And this is like crazy. They're like, even me going into a restaurant with my daughters in them, literally, like, we go in, it's a white waitress, she asks where we want, like, walked us over, like, we're gonna seat you over there, you want a booth or a table, so we go to the booth thing. But I noticed that on our side, where we're sitting at, like, we like the only one over there, but then the white people on one other side. But I'm like, okay, well, maybe it's because of booth thing, but they have booths on both sides. Why not put us on a booth so I can get engaged with the other customers? Why slide us all the way to the side? Then what got weirder was, they had like the cute little waitress like serving, I guess, outfits on that you knew that there was a server because they had Cracker Barrel written across the apron type of thing. And, literally, all of a sudden they go in the back, and then I see this black young lady that they brought out. She don't have one, but and I don't know if she was like a dishwasher or whatever, but you could tell that was not her role to serve us. Like, she had a long sweater on, and she was being as polite as possible. And then I'm looking, and I'm like, this looks a little weird. And she was really sweet, and but it just sad that I'm like, how you gonna do segregation inside of a restaurant? Like, you got, and then that's not the first time, because even literally near right here in Maryland, in my by my daughter's gym, I went to a Denny's that's nearby her gym, and literally I noticed that when they gave me this nasty, disgusting food, I was at a Denny's. We'll never go back to that one. Probably won't eat. It turned me off to literally make me feel like not to go to any Denny's. But anyway, they actually did the same thing. They sat me on the side, and I noticed that they kept bringing all the black people on the side that I was on, and all the white people, and then all the black people was complaining about how disgusting that food was. So I'm not making this stuff. You can't make this stuff up. But what really got real to me, and it put me really now in this space of not only just am I going to keep speaking out, but I'm glad to the point that I'm allowed to speak out. At the end of the day, we all we got, like Boom said, and we all we need, because at the end of the day, we have the power. Our voices are so powerful. If you sit back and you see foolishness happening, you don't speak upon it, then something's wrong. It's to the point that I'm just like, to the point, like, I even made my girls feel uncomfortable, because at the restaurant, I was speaking like, this is weird. And they was like, Mom, please don't do this. I'm like, no, I can't see something wrong and not say something. And I get what they said, because at the end of the day, you don't want to make things, hot or whatever, but at the end of the day, I have to speak up. And like, each time, like, they're taking both of our driver's license when they were pulling us over. What are you taking both of our driver's license for? One of us, two of us can't be driving at one time. So it was just really weird. But this is what you go through as being African American living in America. It's sad and it's disgusting, and this stuff is really going on, and it's just really sad. So my heart level, so driving for over 21 hours, just literally tired, but so scared to stop at rest stops. And then at certain times it got weird, because the rest stops will be open, but as soon as that sun went down in particular states, now all of a sudden, I never knew that you could close a whole rest stop and say, this rest stop is closed right now. How can you close a rest stop where people that's probably been driving for us that might need to use the bathroom, and knowing that certain states that once you drive past one, you have to wait like another 200 miles to go? And like, what if somebody needed gas or just need to rest or anything, and you can't get that? That's disgusting. It's horrible. But to actually have went through all of that stuff, and then literally me being spiritual, it's not the West Coalition, this is Tawanda Jones. It was literally God. I heard God in my ears was telling me, okay, fill up. Because we had a half a tank of gas. It was a little over half or whatever. And normally I would have waited till we got on one highway, and then, because you see like multiple sometimes gas station, but I'm like, something just told me to fill up. And then I kept telling my babies I feel scared. We went to Burger King, we got some more food or whatever to eat while we were on the road. And I'm like, let me fill up now. went, and I'm so glad that I made that decision because wind up literally being stuck on that particular highway for hours because unfortunately a private plane crashed, and my heart goes out to them. It was 5 people that died, literally died. They didn't get a chance to make it to see another day, and that really tore me to pieces when I found out, like, oh my goodness, like people actually died. Like it was just so real, and I knew that when we were trying to call them, they kept saying it's something on fire, and it was like, we think it's a vehicle when we called 511, but kind of found out the whole time it was a plane. And it's just like you can't make this stuff up. But I said all this to say, this goes to show you that in life, we are key players. Everybody has a job to do, whether you want to do it or not. But the thing that I always live by, my rule of thumb, is living by love, respect, and integrity. Everybody deserves love. It doesn't matter what your race is, what your sex is, what your preference is. Every human being deserves to be loved and deserves to be respected. And it's just so sad that you have people to hate you because of your race, to hate you because of your sex. It is disgusting to me. And that is why literally Wes Wednesday pretty much was born, because unfortunately my brother was murdered in broad daylight. And because of all these isms that are going on in this world, he was the ultimate sacrifice. And the crazy part, it wasn't just my brother. Like you hear about brothers and sisters and kids all over that are being murdered. And tonight we have a very long list. I believe it's 32 that we know about. And this is only the victims that pretty much died or succumbed from being shot, gunned down or whatever. But this is not the ones that were beat down like my brother Tyrone West, and the list goes on. Freddie Gray wasn't gunned down, but I can name a lot more, but I don't want to go there. But what I'm saying is, this is why we need unity in our communities. I need everybody. I don't care what your race is, what your beliefs are. We just need to know that when we show out and we stand together, that is so powerful. That's scary to the evil people because they see it and they don't know how to take us. And again, I will echo that it's not a broken system, because a broken means that at some point it was operating in a functional way, that it was working. But this system has never, ever worked for us. Anytime it allows people to be hung from trees and lynched, what is the difference now? They're still doing the same thing and they're getting away with it. And now they done went from lynches to gunning us down, beating us down in the street. It's literally the same exact thing. It's just modern day slavery. They give you a little bit of freedom. Some people get it. It's the haves and the have-not, and it's disgusting. And it all revolves around a capitalist system that does not care about us, that keeps it alive, that keeps the divide from the racism, and keeps us all separate so that they can win. It is disgusting to me. And being one that spent the night in Annapolis, which I'll still, any chance I get, spend a night and tell them about themselves, or try to get a law passed, because that's very important that we get laws passed. But it just seems like, to me, even when we get certain people in office, it's like once they start working for that dollar, they change. And it's just sad. It's disgusting to me. But at the end of the day, it's like my brother Boom always says, we all we got, we all we need. And at the end of the day, if we all pull together and we just show up and we speak on that microphone down at City Hall and we let them know we're not having it, we're all one, regardless of what we believe in, even if we don't even agree to believe in all the things that we come to the table with. But just the fact that we believe that we need to keep the movements alive. So whatever you're doing that's saving lives or that's holding folks accountable, I don't care if you're cooking in your own kitchen selling pies and that's helping out the community. We need to see you guys. We need to see Lottie, Dottie, and everybody, because this is very important. Do not wait until something tragic or bad happens to you or your loved one before that thing clicks in you and then you realize you have to do something. The time is now. Like I always say, we don't have to wait till tomorrow. The time is now. It's just sad that literally we're talking about going on 11 years, still no accountability. They still been doing the same exact dog and pony show. They keep on acting like they're going to fix it. They keep on acting like they're going to do stuff, and nobody's coming to save us. That's just the grim reality. We have to save ourselves. They're treating us just like frogs in a pot of water that they got adjusted down to the lowest temperature, that we feel comfortable when we get complacent on the things we need, and we won't hop out the pot, and they just keep turning the heat up more and more, and they're killing us. And we sit there and we die. No, we need to do whatever humanly possible to make the right in life. Because guess what? At the end of the day, everybody has an unfortunate date that we're no longer going to be here in the flesh and bones, like here on earth. I believe we'll still be united in heaven, whatever. That's my belief. It's not the West Coalition, but my whole point is, while we are here, while we are people, let's not, how can we actually be telling people, like, as soon as someone die or get murdered or anything, the first thing we say is, after my condolences, or even sometimes before my condolences, we say rest in peace. How can they rest in peace when they can't live in peace? We need to start being able to live in peace. And that's like so much registered to me when I was taking this trip, and I saw visions of everything. I started seeing visions of my friends that was close to me. I started seeing their loved ones and people they're connected to, and started feeling, I'm like, what in the world? Like, I was just like overwhelmed with so many emotions. But I will say this. I'm just so thankful for each and every last one of you guys that sent a prayer, a positive thought, checked on me. Y'all don't know how touched I am, because I'm to the point, and it may sound petty, but I'm to the point that this has opened my eyes to the point that if I didn't even hear from certain people that I know that should have called to check on me and my children, or not even just call, they could have even sent a message on Facebook, or I'm praying for you, to praying hands, or even harder. If they didn't say anything, keep that dead silence, because guess what? I'm moving silent. I'm not saying anything. I'm just straight cutting people that I don't need to burn my energy out. Like, you only live once. I'm trying to be as positive and as productive as I can be. We can't keep holding on to people that hurt us, because hurt people hurt people. And when you're hurt, that might make you start hurting people. And when I say hurting people, I mean, you might hurt somebody's feelings because you're so stressed out, because somebody that came around you with a bunch of negative thoughts made you feel like a piece. And then when one of your loved ones, somebody that really love and care, or got the energy that matches yours, come around, you don't even have the energy back. Now you giving off that negative energy. It's almost as if when a person takes a yawn, like, y'all, me just thinking about the word yawn, I feel like, oh, now it's very contagious, and energy's contagious. So my whole point, if you're not right, positive vibing energy, I'm not dealing with you. You're not worth stealing my joy. You're not worth me communicating. So when you don't hear from me, just know that I'm praying for you. I love you, but I'm loving you from a distance, and things will never be the same, because my eyes are completely open with a trip that was over all those hours, seeing things, not knowing, and I actually felt like our ancestors was right there with me. It just, I can't explain it. And I couldn't imagine the stuff that they went through, getting whipped, or I'm telling you, crazy stuff, right? Like, this just unreal stuff. And then the day went on the news, I had to turn it off when I heard Trump talking the same little speech, we're going to make America, with that racist foolishness. America never was great. It never was great. Never, ever, ever was it great. Never. And that just pissed me off every time I hear him say that with his hateful self. And then we'll even have our own people follow behind him. And I'm not judging them. If you want to be a Trump lover, you go for it. You want to put evilness back in office, you go for it. But at the end of the day, it's just like, between him and Biden, it's like they're on the same airplane, just a different wing. It's just like, what side you want? The left side or the right side? It's crazy. Like, it's ridiculous. This we're subject to. That's why I say knock it down, build it back up. That's the only way, man. Like, I'm tired of the Doug and Pony show, and they're playing with us just to calm us. They want us calm so that they can keep manipulating our brains and making you think that stuff that you wouldn't have never, ever thought that you would accept back in the day, we're accepting now through social media. They're playing with our minds, and they showed me just how strong they are, because everything is connected through the government, through all these devices, all that. At any moment, think about this, they could shut us down. They shut Facebook down for a few hours. Man, I was going crazy. I'm like, you gotta be kidding me. And me personally, once I started posting that stuff about me being in a restaurant, and my daughters had me cracking up. They was like, Mom, oh my gosh, you got our account shut down. I didn't know it was something happened. But my whole point is we need to start gathering thoughts, galvanizing together, and trying to make our own social media that they can't shut down. We need to knock it down and build it back up. We need to make it the way we want to make it. And even if we don't get to see it, let our kids see it. Just like the ancestors set the way for us to be able to do certain things now. Had Rosa Parks not refused to stand up, you know, we wouldn't even be standing up for ourselves. With Dr. King and Malcolm X and all of our forefathers and sisters and everybody that set up there and sacrificed their life for us, we need to sacrifice our life for our children, for our children, you know, type of thing. So I said all to say we have to keep the movement alive. So we get everybody to show up, show out, and we need to, not just for one day, not just for a moment, we need to stay in connection. That is how they keep us divided. That's how they keep us divided, making it seem like this organization is over here. That's them controlling us. If we sat back and we took every issue serious, we cut things down. We could seriously, I'm talking about, give it to them. And they probably think about when they was having the black people ride on the back of the bus, and no matter what, and then it was Dr. King and them and Rosa Parks and them that said, you know what, we're not going to get this capitalist system another dollar. They shut MTA services or whatever it was called, the bus services, back down in them days. And it wasn't until it hit their pockets till they started saying, you know what, okay, y'all can say, we got to have our ancestors' mentality, because we're dying and we're getting murdered. They're doing everything they want to do to us. Like, it's sad, like, and it's getting sadder. And it used to be a time where we were classed as middle class. You had the poor, middle class, and you had the rich. Right now, it's either you're rich or you're poor. We didn't knew, like, you're poor. Even the middle class, you are poor, because we're trying to survive out here, and everything, including the zinc, the prices are going up. Everything's getting cost on us at one time. It's designed to make you zap, and then you wonder why people zapping out. You can't even ride down the street without somebody blowing a horn at you. So I said all this to say, guys, we need to pull together. And I want to see everybody there at West Wayans. I want to thank, and I want to personally thank, because I was going to write it, you know, down and send a message, and I still will. But I want to thank each and everybody, even if the ones that couldn't even, you know, come to the march and rally. They actually bought T-shirts. Thank you guys so much for doing that. I want to give the West Coalition a big shout out, because they've been working like nonstop. Nobody from the West Coalition is getting paid. And thank God, you know, for things sometimes that the donations, but nobody's getting paid. Nobody's a paid position. Like, we are robbing Peter to pay Paul, but they took their time, dedication, all that. Like, y'all got a whole professional service. Y'all got the dean of professional service. Ship, handle, all that, sent to you guys, everything. Like, my sister Dre bought, like, so many people together, got so many shirts. Like, everybody played their part. Like, I just want to give a big shout out to everybody, from just everybody that contribute their time, their just any and everything, their connections to the teachers, everything. I just want to thank each and every last one of you. But again, thank you guys for actually purchasing the shirt, and know that We definitely appreciate it. And yeah, it was like we still working. So we made this 555. We're trying to make it happen. So that way when the 600 West Wednesday come, we're going to do more stuff to make sure that everything is secure. Like, this is something that we're not used to doing. This is something that, like, we're going to fail at certain things. It's like a trial and error type of thing because we're not professional. Like, people that know how to do this kind of stuff, but we're doing everything out of love. We're doing everything out of integrity, and we're doing everything because it needs to be done. No one is coming to save us. No one. Me as a Christian woman, I know no one's coming to save me. I believe in God, and, you know, I'm praying he come back and, you know, save me or whatever. And, you know, he saved me, but I'm talking about human beings. No one is going to come and save us. We have to save ourselves. We have to live in love, integrity, and respect. That's all. It's an easy fix. It's an easy fix, and we cannot sit by and see something bad. Now I'm to the point I can't shut my big mouth. I gotta say something. When I see stuff wrong at my job, I get loud in my class where other teachers might be whispering about, oh, this ain't right. I say it out loud real clear because that's me. Like, I can't sit back and just be about stuff that is not right. I'm going to speak up. I'm going to speak up, and to me, that's the most powerful thing, because once you silence yourself, that's when anything can happen. I think about babies or people that got hurt, that are suffering in silence, that won't say nothing. Do you know how, like, that is torturous? You're torturing yourself. Those poor souls are being tortured by holding all that stuff inside of them, not releasing. And then the time when they want to release is at the worst moment. That's when they explode. It's just like building up, pumping up, putting up. But just imagine putting air in a balloon. You put up too much, and then after a while it just explodes. And this is what happened. This is what is happening. People are suffering inside of taking blow after blow after blow after blow, all this air, this hot air. And finally, when it comes to that point to explode, when you take your time and you speak out and you say something and you do something, you will have a better effect than exploding. That's why so much is happening right now. I said all this out of love. I love you guys. I'm going to stop talking now. I'm going to check in with the West Quarters. I'm going to check in to see if we got any comments or anything, or if anybody else want to add to the conversation. But I just want to let you guys know we got to do better, man. We have to stick together. It's a must. It's not, something that, we think we, something that we definitely have to do. Because I'm telling you, love goes far. The love that I had from you guys, sending me well wishes for whatever you guys sent me, oh my God, like, it was so soothing to me. It was to the point that that's what calmed my nerves down, knowing that I could reach out in the middle of the night and say, oh my God, this is happening. We're stuck on this highway, say a prayer, and prayer works, or positive thoughts work. I just want to say I thank you guys. All of y'all rock, man. Like, I love y'all. I love y'all all. So I'm going to stop right there, and I'm going to do a mic check. Mic check.
Mic check.
So, Uncle Bill, do anybody want to say anything before we go to the comments and questions? Mic check.
Yeah, I just want to mention that the mayor here keeps bragging about the amount of killings. Community violence has declined somewhat in the last year. But the fact is that it's a national phenomenon. All around the country, the number of people killed in 2023 was down 12% from previous years. But at the same time, the number of people killed by police has gone up. Not a huge amount, but it definitely has not gone down, and it has gone up some. And that's another reason why we have to take this issue very seriously, and I encourage everybody to come out next week on Wednesday for the 555th rally and march. I'll be there. I hope lots and lots of people will join us.
Awesome. And I want to echo that. I just want to echo what Uncle Bill just said. We hope that everybody comes and joins us. Like, it will be definitely worth your time. And thanks for all the endorsements. Like, everybody was like putting in work, like I said, like from the shirts, Dre put in from the shirts. And then if that wasn't enough, to endorse like everybody. Like Ben did the amazing. Give my brother Back Alley, aka Hobo, a big shout out because even on his end, he was doing like some little graphic things and all that stuff. So you guys all just rock. Like I love everybody, man. Y'all the best. That's all I gotta say. Like you guys are amazing, and it's like the same way we can feel love is the same way that we can feel hate. And it's so sad. I don't want anyone to ever feel hate because that's an ugly seed. We do not need to feel like that. And I want to give a big shout out to my sister Angela, who's going through her own thing. But at the end of the day, she took the time to send me kind words. She took the time to pray for me. She took the time to actually check on me. And she's going through her own situation. And even that everybody that's checked on me, because everybody got their own problems. Like, I'm not the only one that had problems. Like, come on now, I already know that. But the fact that when you help people, when you need help, that speaks in volumes. Like, even though I need help, I still try to help everybody that I can to the best of my ability, whether it's a conversation, whether it's making a phone call, whether it's just support, or whether if I got a little extra dollar, whatever the case may be. It's all about helping people, but that speaks in volume. When you help someone, when you need help, that's real powerful. So that's why you definitely should not ever take that for granted. So right now, Uncle Bill, I want to check in with the questions and the comments because I want to make a meeting that I have to attend after West Wednesday. So I want to check in real quick with the comments and the questions before we go to the sad list. Mic check.
Mic check. I can read them unless there's someone else on who would like to read them. All right. I think I'll be doing it. So please forgive me if I'm not saying your name right, but Jacob Abraham says mic check. Angela says mic check. AC Britt says mic check. Hillary says, so glad you are back safe, Tawanda. Judah says mic check. AC says, yes, southern states are still stuck back in time. And I'll add northern states also have a lot of racism. AC says it's all in the name Cracker Barrel. They only like crackers. And then she continued to point and said, and I'm mostly white, so anyone offended can back up. Hillary, and Tawanda, if you want to respond to anything, just stop me. Hillary said another reason to boycott Cracker Barrel and Denny's. Bruce says, good evening, and sorry to hear about what went down. AC sent flowers and a heart. AC says it's a corrupt system, and she has the raised fist. And then she said, yes, there's a lack of peace in the world right now. And she also says, yep, we're going to band together. We have shirts. We have signs. Should be lit. Hillary says, if all activists unite in the message and work towards accountability together, we can see real change. We need to be alert to those who will try to divide us and take away our power. Angela says, and she lives several states from here. She says, I'm going to try and make it up there next week. Very good, Angela. Look forward to seeing you. And Judah says, Bill, not only is the downward trend of violence a national phenomenon, but also the decline should be attributed to the work of local grassroots movements as much or more so than City Hall or BPD. And that's all the comments that have come in so far. Mic check.
Mic check. Well, I just want to thank everybody that made a comment. That's so sweet. You guys are the best. Like I said, y'all rock. That's why I'm going to keep saying it. You all rock. You guys are amazing. You guys are the best. And yeah, Bruce, thanks. And just thanks everybody that, sent their love again and commented or whatever. So if you're on YouTube, please don't let my brother Ben work be in vain, like in the West Coalition work be in vain. Like, we're putting this out on YouTube, and I know police brutality is not a big hot topic only until somebody get killed on a national level. Then everybody comes out when the cameras are out, all that. But all we're asking you to do is just hit the like, share, and subscribe. It's easy. Like, share, and subscribe. So again, I just want to thank each and every last one of you. I'm going to start by reading our mission statement. And from there, we will take 1 minute of silence, and we will definitely come back with the questions. But again, before we go into this, I cannot wait until next week. And it was just so epic that I had a memory that came up when we did our caravan, and that happened, like, that came up on my memory for yesterday, and I was like, wow. And just seeing me standing in Ben's truck on the mic with my fist in the air was epic. I think it was like when we did the thing for George Floyd right here in Maryland or whatever, but it definitely popped up on my time frame. That thing was epic. So I cannot wait. I don't know if y'all excited as I am, but I cannot wait. Please don't let all of our labor be in vain. We need you guys out there, like in the flesh. Like, even if you never showed up at a West Wednesday before, bring a friend and another friend and another friend, and we will see you guys next week. So I'm going to start off with our mission statement. All right. It is the mission of the West Coalition to work for accountability for Tyrone West and all victims of police brutality. We believe that there is a connection between police brutality and community violence. Police can use de-escalation strategies to diffuse situations without necessarily using force, and we encourage community members to resolve disputes without violence. We care deeply about those families impacted by police brutality and community violence. And I'll echo that again. We care deeply about those families impacted by police brutality and community violence. We seek to lift up the names of their loved ones from a place of respect and care. We obtain these lists of those shot and killed by police and those lost to community violence from national and local news outlets. We know that these are not by no means exhaustive lists, and that gun violence isn't the only way that people are murdered. We do not detain detailed information about the circumstances surrounding each of these deaths or the people who died. By reading these names, we are not condoning violent behavior on the part of anyone involved in the situation. So at this moment, let's take 1 minute. If you're into prayer, let's say a prayer. If you're into just positive energy, we need all of it. The time now is 7:58, and we will return at 7:59. Mic check.
Mic check.
Mic check.
All right, thank you guys. The time now is 7:59, so I'm going to bring my brother Brian in to check on our community violence list. And again, our heart goes out to any and everybody. Mic check.
Mic check.
Okay, thank you, Tawanda. Oops, I just had a technical difficulty. I'm going to need a second here. Yeah, last week was a good week. We didn't lose anyone to community violence last week. This week, unfortunately, we have 6 names. And so I'll just ask you all to echo these back to me so we can, express our solidarity and our care for the families and for all the other victims. Bryant Williams, 37.
Brian
Brian Williams.
37.
Cormar Askins, 16.
Ooh, Cormar Askins.
Johnny Small, 37.
Johnny Small.
Reginald Evans, 62.
Reginald Evans.
Alvin Ray Henry, 35.
Alvin Ray Henry.
Isaiah Taylor, 21.
Isaiah Taylor, 21.
Thank you.
I thank you, Brother Brian, and I'm sorry I couldn't barely hear all the names you were reading. That's why I couldn't, say anything. But at this time, I also somebody we heard some type of sound like somebody's in a brainstorm. I just got a message, so if everybody can mute their mics when we're not talking, that would be great. So next up will be Uncle Bill. If you're gonna read the name tonight, mic check.
Mic check. Yes, I'll be reading the names. We have an awful list this evening of people killed by police. This covers deaths from February the 22nd to March the 5th. So this is less than 2 weeks, and the police may have killed others, as Tawana pointed out earlier, by means other than shooting. But of those shot by police during this time period, 34 were killed. And we're going to start with a name from last week, in addition to the 34, because last week his name was not yet known, but we do know it now. So that gentleman killed on February 22nd in Independence, Missouri, was 32 years old. Seif Bani Khalid. Seif Bani Khalid.
Seif Bani Khalid.
Bani Khalid.
Also on the 22nd, this is in Lenoir, North Carolina. 25 years old, name not yet known.
Cell block for killer cops. Ashe.
Moving to the, let me see. Yes, the 23rd in Great Falls, Montana, 69 years old, Michael Hansen.
Michael
Hansen.
February the 23rd again, Rome, Georgia, 34 years old, Kelvin Jackson.
Kelvin Jackson.
On the 23rd again, in Green Bay, Wisconsin, someone who's as yet unidentified. We don't know the gender or the age.
Cell block for killer cops. Ashe.
In Spring Garden Township, Pennsylvania, 34 years old, again on February the 23rd, killed by police, Payton Sells.
Hayden Bell.
Sells, actually.
Sells, sorry.
All right. We're doing the best we can with the technology we have. We can't hear each other as clear as we'd like. Once more on February the 23rd in Palmdale, California, the police killed 30-year-old Joseph Henson.
Joseph
Hansen.
On the 24th in Upland, California, 50 years old, Cesar Marta. In Tucson, Arizona, we're on the 24th again, 23-year-old Devin Lewis.
Devin Lewis.
The 24th again in Sedalia, Missouri, 28 years old, James Kreisel.
James Kreisel.
Thank you. Again on the 24th, this time in Lexington, Illinois, 37 years old, Trayvon Little.
Trayvon Little.
Again on the 24th in Buffalo, New York, 58 years old, Edward Holmes.
Edward Holmes.
On the 26th of February in Huntsville, Texas, 43 years old, Austin Flores.
Austin Flores.
On the 26th in Sarasota, Florida, 54 years old, William Pickett.
William Pickett.
Okay.
In Fontana, California, 36 years old, on February the 26th, Marcus Camacho.
Marcus Camacho.
Macho.
In Festus, Missouri, on February the 26th, 37 years old, Anthony Stratman Jr.
Anthony Stratman
Anthony
Jr.
Stratman Jr.
Thank you. On the 27th in Groveland, California, 42 years old, Sean Carr.
Sean Carr.
Sean Carr.
And Houston, Texas, on the 29th, an unidentified person. They happen to mention that he's Hispanic and male. We don't know his name as of yet.
Cell block for killer cops. Ashe.
Ashe.
In Denver, Colorado, on the 29th, 32 years old, Kristen Dock.
Kristen Dock.
In Denver, Colorado, on March the 1st, a man who has not yet been identified.
Cell block for killer cops. Ashe.
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 Again, on March the 1st, in Eureka Springs, Arkansas, 36 years old, Christopher Van, I hope I'm saying your name correctly, speaking out of the family, Christopher Van Schoik.
Christopher Van Schoik.
Again, on March the 1st, in Houston, Texas, a man who's has not yet been identified. We don't know the age.
Cell blocks for killer cops. Ashe.
Ashe.
Again, on March the 1st, in Meriden, Mississippi, someone who is not yet identified, and we don't know the gender or the age.
Cell blocks for killer cops. Ashe.
Ashe.
On the 1st, yet again, in Janesville, Wisconsin, again, someone who's not yet identified.
Cell blocks for killer cops. Ashe.
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 On March the 2nd, in Galveston, Texas, a man who is not yet identified and whose age we don't know.
Cell blocks for killer cops. Ashe.
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 Again, on March the 2nd, in Humble, Texas, 19 years old, Nathaniel Pignon.
Nathaniel Pignon.
March the 2nd, yet again, in Tetersville, Kentucky, 42 years old, Lance Bryson.
Lance Bryson.
Lance Bryson.
Yet again, on March the 2nd, St. Michael, Minnesota. This is a person not yet identified. We don't know the gender or the age.
Cell blocks for killer cops. Ashe.
Ashe.
In Tishomingo, Oklahoma, on March the 3rd, a man who is not yet identified, whose age we don't know.
Cell blocks for killer cops. Ashe.
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 In Clinton, Tennessee, on March the 3rd, 25 years old, Isaiah Hill.
Isaiah Hill.
Isaiah Hill.
Again, on March the 3rd, in Collierville, Tennessee, 30 years old, Antoine Booker.
Antoine Booker.
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 In Del Zora, California, once again, on March the 3rd, someone who was killed by the police. We don't know the name, the gender, or the age.
Cell blocks for killer cops. Ashe.
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 In York, South Carolina, 62 years old, on March the 3rd again, Charlie Baker.
Charlie Baker.
Charlie Baker.
Again, on March the 3rd, another police killing. In Houston, Texas, 45 years old, a man, we don't know his name.
Cell blocks for killer cops. Ashe.
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 And we're coming now to the end of a horribly long list. This is in El Paso, Texas, 30 years old, a man, but we don't know his name.
Cell blocks for killer cops. Ashe.
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 All right, that concludes the list. It's a sad commentary on the state of things that we have names to read every time, and this time such a large list. Mic check.
Mic check.
Mic check.
And I want to thank both Ryan and Bill for actually taking the time to read such heartbreaking lists. And again, our heart goes out to the families. And if any way that we can help you guys, reach out to us. You can hit us up on the West Coalition. You know, our app. You can just hit us up, or on. I'm sorry, I'm scrambling, but because I'm really excited about next week. But you can actually, you know, communicate through our emails, just any which way that you want to. You can send me a personal message via my Facebook, or anything. We just like to help if there's a way we can actually provide help. So again, I'm looking forward to seeing Lottie Dottie and everybody. Bring a friend and a friend and a friend. And I just can't wait. Like, this is very important because once we stand together, there's nothing that we can't do. I believe that we will win.
Tawanda.
We definitely will win one day and have a world full of peace, a world full of love, a world that everybody shall feel safe in. It's just sad that I don't feel safe nowhere. It's like, oh my goodness, if I knew one good spot that me and my family could be safe, and a murder car would have been gone there. So it's sad. It's disgusting. Nobody should feel like that. Everybody, the same way certain people from different classes wake up and they don't feel anything. They just wake up and like, oh, like I literally, and I'm going to end on this note, but I even see racist stuff happen at my cheer competition, my daughter cheer competition. We're sitting in a row, and literally I'm sitting in between two Caucasian females, and they like people come, which is, you know, sometimes it's kind of rude, but then sometimes people can't help but walk by you. It's a big event. You know, you just slide your legs over, move. It's almost like people walking past you while you're watching the movie. You tuck those legs over and you move. But I actually saw the white woman like, I'm not going to move. And I see two white people push someone. I'm like, are you kidding me? Then the security guard was so rude. Like, I literally went out to buy me and my children snacks, overpriced snacks. Literally got under 7 items. It was like $55. Like, all I got was not a small thing of nachos, small popcorn, M&M, and 3 drinks. It came to $55. And I go to get back in, and you're like, oh, we're not letting nobody back in, because it's like they started blocking off certain sections of the convention center. And they literally, a spot that I just came out, they had to walk literally all the way around, because this is like in Dallas, Texas. This is the biggest convention center that we were at in the world. That's why, like, they had over 3,400 teams to actually come worldwide to compete from division to division. So, you know, that thing was huge. But for me to see the racism that somebody feel comfortable of putting their hands in, and the last thing, and I'll end on this note, but the last thing that blew me, it was a elderly white woman that decided she wanted to come sit next. She said, "Excuse me, sweetie, is that seat available?" I'm like, sure, yes, it's about. She's like, oh, you're such an angel. And she sat by me, and she had on all white, and she had her white shoes on and everything. And long story short, it was a big white guy that actually came up, and as he was like turning, like to turn around, his body kind of almost like connected to her. She was like, and he was going to like try to come to our row. So she was like, had her foot up, one of her foot up and one of her feet down. And she pretty much was like, oh, you're not going to walk through this place. He was like, what are you talking about? So he turned around to do something, and we turned around, but he's looking at me and her both sitting right there. She pushed his back, and when I say he turned around looking at both of us, it was like, don't you put your hands on me. Young, this guy was about at least 6'6", and I'm like over like 400 pounds. He was like a giant, a general. Well, he wasn't nothing general with about him. We turned around in a race. What are you doing putting your hands on? You put your hands. And she goes, oh, you stepped on my wife, and you put a print. That's why I was pushing you off of my shoe. And he said, oh, I'm so sorry. I didn't know it was you. I'm so sorry. I didn't mean to talk to you. I'm like, oh, you freaked. So I'm in my mind, he must have thought it was me. I'm like, that is disgusting. So on that note,
Tawanda,
yes.
Can you remind everybody what time the rally is next week and where we meet?
Yeah, so we're going to meet at, matter of fact, could you just let them know exactly where we're going to meet and what time exactly?
Sure. It's Wednesday next week. It's March the 13th and we're going to start at 6 o'clock in the evening right outside City Hall.
Thank you. I just didn't want to screw it up because my brain is still like half asleep. I'm working off energy. I had to come back from taking a long ride. I didn't get into about 10 o'clock, 11 o'clock last night. Had to shower. I didn't get to sleep till like 1 o'clock this morning. Had to be to work early, bright and early, and jippery for my class. I'm exhausted. But anyway, guys, remember, we can't wait to see you guys. So he gave you the place and the time, City Hall, 6 p.m., City Hall, 6 p.m. I can't wait to see Lottie, Dottie, and everybody. Remember, live to love, love to live. I love you all. And unfortunately, on a sad note, the same way that we had to bring you in with the unfortunate video, even though we show it every week, but just, I want you to watch it again, just so that's a special reminder, because I wish I had I wish I had anything that Ruiz was unhinged and I knew about him. Maybe I could have warned my brother, and maybe he would have been on point when a serial repeat violent offender is pulling him over, putting him in this horrible situation where he did nothing wrong, literally, and was murdered. So on that note, we have to unfortunately play this video, but watch to the end. And what breaks my heart is at the end of the video, I see family members that was fighting for accountability in that video that is no longer with me. And it breaks my heart. They'll always be in my heart, but they're no longer here. When I made that video, when that video was made, you know, at the end part, like of where the White Pettis office, I'm talking about that part. I'm not talking about the victims giving testimony about this animal. I'm talking about the part where we're in the White Pettis office and he's talking about Ruiz. You will see my Uncle Clifton Anderson rub my Aunt Diane's back as she was crying and moping as I was. You will see, you know, my cousin Jamie right there by me, and then the full corner, my cousin Tavon Anderson, who's no longer here. They're no longer here to fight for accountability. I owe that to them. I owe it to my brother's children. I owe it to my family to one day get accountability. I don't know what day that'll be, but I'm praying and I'm hoping, and I feel good that something soon will happen. So live to love, love to live. Thank you guys for your time. Mic check.
Mic check.
Mic check.
And Mr. West begging for his life, and Mr. Salam begging for his child to be excluded and comforted from what was taking place. Not for himself, but for his 3-year-old child.
Case number 4, Adina Britt and family, September 10th, 2015.
My name is Adina Britt, and I wanted to submit a 30-second testimonial that Jorge Omar Bernardez Ruiz is one of the 11 terrorists that came into my house performing a home invasion in September 2015, terrorizing my entire family and even holding my 12-year-old son at gunpoint. He needs to be stopped.
Case number 5, unidentified arrestee, assaulted in 2016.
I suggest you back the fuck up. No, why you
Again, this video did not surface until the summer of 2020. Case 6, Thomas McCullough, May 2016 and February 2017.
I heard my front door coming off the hinges, like it exploded.
Thomas McCullough says it happened twice. In May 2016 and February 2017, Baltimore City Police burst through his green front door and raided his Pimlico home.
They said, police. They come up, shotguns, guns.
He says officers ransacked the place, looking for drugs, money, and weapons. He took pictures of the damage he says they left behind.
Tell us where the drugs are, the scales, the guns, and the large amounts of money.
Nothing was found. Now he's suing police, claiming officers, including a former member of the Gun Trace Task Force, frightened him, his wife, and father-in-law when the officers conducted what his suit calls an illegal search of his home. The owner of the house tells 11 News after the second raid, he had to replace the front door. McCullough and his attorney say they want Baltimore police held accountable.
There is a colossal breach of trust.
And McCullough tells us following both raids, no one was arrested or charged.
This all begs the question, when will Baltimore City State's Attorney Marilyn Mosby see the prosecution of Bernardez Ruiz as warranted?
They were the stopping officers in these so-called jump-out cars, unmarked and so forth, that stopped both the West vehicle and the Salon vehicle without probable cause. And these officers are the ones that also were joined by others, but they are the ones who initiated the stops, pulled both men out of the vehicles, and commenced the vicious activity that was thrust upon them.
And the Officer Ruiz that started this attack is still working with promotions. He is now sergeant. But the fact that this repeat violent offender had a history leading up to my brother. There was Darrell Harris, there was James Green, Joseph Green, Abdul Salam, and my sister Dina and her family. No one family deserves to be brutally murdered or brutalized by this repeat violent offender Ruiz. It is time we take action. The time is now.
Baltimore police officer Jorge Bernardez Ruiz is a repeat violent offender. Based on these accounts, in accordance with the law, we, the West Coalition, call for him to be fired, prosecuted, and incarcerated.
We're more than hashtags and body bags. We're more than being 6 feet in the dirt and pictures and buttons on t-shirts. Our lives matter.
For the safety of our city, the prevention of further harm, and the justice for these families, we see no other option.
And again, I'll say, the time is now.